Well, my husband was transferred on his job from Lubbock, Texas, and I was on the staff of the First Methodist Church there. And we moved to Dallas, and Dr. Lovern told me that one of the churches that I should be interested in Dallas was where T. Herbert Minga was, because they had been classmates. My dad's cousin, Noel Thompson, was at Lover's Lane. So when we moved here, we thought, well, we'll try and see where we had an 8-month-old baby. So the first Sunday we went to Lover's Lane, which was on Lover's Lane at that time, and it was about a 25-minute drive, which with the baby is kind of difficult to time that. And so then we lived in Casa View. We weren't very far from Casa View Methodist, which was where Wilford Bailey was. But my growing up church started in a union hall with folding chairs. And when we went to Casa View, it was too much like that, having come from a Gothic cathedral in Lubbock. So we decided to look up White Rock, and we came to White Rock. The first day that we attended White Rock, we were here for the service, and that afternoon, about 2:30, my doorbell rang, and it was Harold Causey and Otis Herring, two gentlemen we had greeted us that morning at church, and they came to visit us and say that the church wanted us to be members of the church, and told us all about what was going on with the church. And I said I was interested in the music in the church and in the choir. The next day, Roy Johnson called me and told me that someone would be picking me up on Wednesday, that they had full-time babysitter if I needed it, and I was to be there Wednesday night. Well, that was kind of a shock to me, to be demanded to come, but I came, and I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed being in the choir, and we joined in April of 1962. Well, I've been here so long, I have many. My children were baptized here, my children were married here, my grandchildren were christened here. But aside from that, I think my favorite memory was the trips we went on with the Teenage Timothy Tradition Choir 2 different times. We went once to the West Coast and once to the East Coast with 40 teenagers, which was a growing time for them and for us. It was a choir, and we performed in churches all the way out and back. And we also did service projects at retirement homes, and watching those kids as they changed and grew in their spiritual life. And one of the reasons that Ann Barton, the director, did this, she wanted those kids to know that no matter where they went after they graduated from high school, there would be a Methodist church, and the connectional spirit was there. And so that I think about that often. My son was one of the choir singers, of course, but it was special because of all those kids, not just him. One of my favorite slogans that the Methodist Church had a few years ago was open minds, open hearts, open doors. I think we need to grow on that. A church is not a country club for believers. The church is a clinic for sinners to come and be restored and reaffirmed so they can go out and do service. We should be building bridges with the community, and I hope to see that enhanced, that we do more of that. The community needs us, and we need the community. I love it when there's babies in the nursery, because that means there's hope. As long as there's babies and children in the church, that's a beginning, and that's the dream, that they will continue to build the church.